สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ Dr. Pakorn. Thank you very much for joining the nation's virtual forum today. Welcome to the forum ค่ะ
ครับ สวัส
So
ดีครับ
Dr. Pakorn ค่ะ ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ So Dr. Pakorn ค่ะ let's get to straight away to the point. How do you think that the digital asset will affect the traditional financial system and could they eventually replace it?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much, the nation, for having me here today. And for that question, I believe that after you get through all my presentation, you will understand what the stock exchange of Thailand see in the future. So if I may, I would like to start on the presentation on three parts. The first part would be the current situation in the capital market in Thailand and in the world. And the second part would be on the development of the digital asset ecosystem in Thailand. And the last part, the third part, would be what the stock exchange of Thailand will do to facilitate that evolution. Let me move to the slide page 1, please.
Right. So we'll turn this session. We'll turn the session over to you, Dr. Pakorn. You're going to
Sure.
introduce to us about a financial innovation for the future economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you look at the situation of the the capital market in Thailand at the moment, you will notice that Thailand have been doing very well. Our IPO market last year was 13.5 billion US dollar. It was ranked number 7 in Asia and number 18 in the world. It has been the most liquid stock exchange in ASEAN during the past, I would say, 10 years. And now we have more than 5 million trading accounts, and only last year 1.6 million account new open. And now we have developing the new exchange, the live exchange, to cater the startup and SME. And now at the exchange we have the new product called depository receipt that allow the investor to be able to invest in the asset globally. And also, if they would like to invest in their mutual fund, either locally or global, they can invest through the system at the exchange, through the online system, through the online trading platform. And to open the account easily, the Stock Exchange of Thailand facilitate the intermediary to be able to open the account without have to go to the face-to-face routine. It can be electronic open account. Thai company has been doing very well on sustainability basis. 24 Thai companies are now included into the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, the leading sustainability index in the world. And also, we have been doing very well on the financial literacy for our investor and also stakeholder. Now let's move to page 3. When you look at the traditional market and the digital asset market in the world at the moment, it's around scale 100 to 1 for the traditional to be bigger and the digital asset at the moment. However, when you look at the digital asset at the moment, most of the size, most of the market value are on the cryptocurrency, not the digital asset yet. However, at the moment, when you look at the global bond market, the size is roughly 119 trillion US dollar. The global stock market, the market value is roughly 123 trillion US dollars. For the digital asset at the moment, around 1.7 trillion US dollar. And like I mentioned, most of the market value of the digital asset at the moment are cryptocurrency. Please move to page 4, please. Now let's see what kind of digital assets are there in the world. There are 3 main type of the digital asset. The first one we call investment token, which can be either asset linked or it can be project based, and it can be either the asset of some company or some underlying asset that investor or the issuer would like to offer into the market. And the second digital asset is called utility token, and it can be ready to use and not ready to use. And it depends. It's very much like the coupon that we get, that we can use it to exchange to the services and goods, either now or in the future. And the last type of the digital asset is the cryptocurrency. And for the cryptocurrency, it's not just one type. There are many types. It can be central bank digital currency, or it can be private digital currency. And for the private digital currency, it can be either what we call stable coin or blank coin. The thing that has been investing quite a lot at the moment is the blank coin that doesn't have any underlying asset. For example, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are blank coin. And now let's move to why investors are interested in this digital asset. When you look at any new thing, there are both portion that are innovation and another portion that are the risks that we may never think about before. Let's talk about the innovation first. These digital assets certainly are the new asset class. The return of this asset may not be correlated to the traditional asset. That's why it contribute to the diversification feature that are in this new digital asset. Many people investing in it because it doesn't have correlation to the asset that he has. That's why his portfolio are more risk less when you compare with the portfolio that doesn't have the digital asset. And also a democratization of the financing. Why? Because now small and new enterprise can raise funds through this new channel. And also investor who might never have a chance to invest in this new kind of like startup or SME because they don't have access to those assets, now can have more easily time and channel to invest in this new asset. But at the same time, we need to look into the risk also. Since this is a new type of asset, it doesn't have much liquidity. It doesn't have that many assets in the market. Certainly, there will be high volatility. The asset price can swing wildly. And also, since it's new, the regulations might not be ready for them yet. We certainly would see the new regulation coming out from the regulator to control and to monitor all these assets to protect both the investor investment and also to give the standard to the fundraising. And lastly, the name is called digital asset. It has a new risk that is the authenticity and also the cybersecurity risk, because there is no middleman here. Everything is on the platform, the trading platform, and every verification would be non-face-to-face. You will have to understand all these new cybersecurity risk features. Now let's move to page 6. What would be the difference between these two markets and how, in my opinion, it would create coexistence of the two markets? In the traditional market, you will notice that it's always centralized market. It has exchange, it has single regulator, it has the stakeholder that work all over the world on the financial advice, on the trading, on the clearing. It also very well regulated. The regulator has a platform, has the rule regulation that are standardized all over the world. It has also the well-established investor base. For example, in Thailand, there are retail investor group, there are local institutional investor, there are foreign institutional investor. And normally, the company that come to raise the fund are linked to the real economy. They are mostly the medium-sized and large-sized company. But when you look at the digital asset market, it's certainly going to be a decentralized market. However, at the beginning, there might be some regulator or some party that be centralized first, but at the end, it will be decentralized. And also, the regulation will be gradually and continuously developing. Investor base is gonna be adding many more new investor type like the young generation, like the smaller retail investor, or either the institutional investor who are very interested in the startup and the SME. Those are going to be the group of new investors that come into the market. And lastly, very important, this will be the market for the company that just start, the company that have a lot of potential. However, it might not have that long history operation. This would be the new group of investor and the fundraiser. Now, let's move into a comparison page. People always think that digital asset market are so different. However, when you compare it piece by piece to the traditional asset market, you will notice that there are a lot of similarity, but the player will be different. For example, if the fundraiser want to come into raising the fund in the market, in the capital market, what will they do? They talk to the financial advisor, they talk to the banker, they talk to get the issuer advice. In the digital asset market, it's the duty of the token issuer is who will provide the issuer service, who will provide the primary market activity. You see, there are a lot of similarity between the financial advisor and the token issuer. After they list or after they issue the token, what's next? They are doing the trading in the secondary market. For the traditional asset market, those will be done in the stock exchange as a secondary market provider. In the digital asset exchange platform, it will be traded through the digital asset exchange, which will perform the secondary market operating function also. And now, in the traditional asset market, you trade it to the broker, investor service, who provide you the investor service. In the digital asset market, you have the wallet service, who keep both of their cash, cryptocurrency, or digital asset. And those are people who performing quite a similar function to the broker. And lastly, where do you keep your asset and either the traditional asset or the digital asset? For the traditional market, you keep it in the custodian account or the broker account. For the digital asset market, you keep it in the wallet keeper. So you can start to see the similarity between the two markets. That's why, please move to the next page. This is what we at the Stock Exchange of Thailand see. We think that our market, the traditional market that has been growing almost twofold since 2012, at that time we have a market capitalization of roughly 380 billion US dollars, and now at the moment our market cap is going up to 610 billion US dollar. Another 10 years, certainly we expect that the traditional capital market will grow still. We don't know how much. However, the additional thing would be the digital asset market certainly would be growing also. And it certainly would coexist with the traditional market. You might wonder why. Let me give you an example. Let's say there's a business operator who would like to raise like 100 billion baht, roughly 3 billion US dollar. What will they do? The first thing that they might think is that, okay, how can I utilize the digital asset market? But when you want to raise something like 3 billion US dollars, how many investors do I need? What type of controlling mechanism that I need to provide so that people will believe in a project that costs 3 billion US dollars? When at the same time, he looked at the traditional market and he said, okay, I have 10,000 investors in this market already. I have an FA who can handle this size of transaction easily within a few months, maybe a few weeks. Then I use the traditional market to raise these funds to invest in the business activity that I have been doing. And they all know my business activity. They all know the performance of my company. So you can see that there will be many business operators who still depend on the traditional asset market. Now, let's see why the digital asset market would be growing also. Let's say you are the owner of the new business that doesn't have much history. However, your idea is so good. And then you know that the people who are interested in your project would be young guy or the guy who can take a lot of risk, but they are not gonna invest a lot in your project. They're gonna be a few thousand people who invest in your project. In this case, the digital asset market would be perfect for that kind of project because it's a new project that doesn't have history. However, it has a good story to sell to the investor who would like to investing in the high expectation return and high risk project. This is why we at the Stock Exchange of Thailand offering the digital asset market, digital asset opportunity also. And what we are doing is that we're gonna offer an open platform to link the trading of the traditional asset and digital asset because we believe that it can coexist. Also, we will focus on the investment token and utility token. We will not touch on cryptocurrency. We will provide the trading, clearing, and internal wallet services for those investment token and utility token. And we will serve an application programming interface platform and portal so that anyone who is the token issuer, who is the other exchange, who is the wallet, who is the custodian, to be able to connect to the PDX, the platform that we offer. And we wish that, and we expected that this platform will be able to launch in the third quarter of this year. This is the page that will explain how our application and our exchange will work together. At the moment, we have an online trading platform for streaming that offered by our subsidiary SetTrade company. SetTrade used to be able to provide the services for the investor to access into the Stock Exchange of Thailand, MAI, TFEC, and the mutual fund platform, and in the future, the live platform that will offer to do the trading for the startup and SME. This SetTrade will also connect to the Thailand Digital Exchange to provide the online application on trading for both traditional market and digital asset market. So you can see that this is the thing that will happen in the future. Investor will never have to know which market he access. He only use this online trading platform and be able to access to all the investment either locally, globally, traditionally, or digitally. This is the view that we at the Stock Exchange of Thailand have been having in our mind. And we hope that we would be able to facilitate this evolution of the Thai capital market, and not just the Thai capital market by itself, but the connectivity of the Thai capital market to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pakorn.
Thank you very much.
Looks like you're aiming for a launch in Q3 of this year.
Yes, it depends on the approval from all the regulators. And if once we get those approval, we would be able to provide the service almost as soon as the approval we got.
And do you anticipate that your investors that would be accessing this market they be mostly from the Thai market, or would you start to see investors from foreign nationals as well?
In my opinion, initially the investor would be from Thailand because the product that we have would be most likely locally.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Dr. Pakorn, President of the Stock Exchange of Thailand. A wonderful and very informative opening speech about financial innovations for the future economy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Kap.